Hello everyone, I'm here with my friend Michael Olmos. I'm going to let him explain a little about himself and who he is. He's a good friend of mine who just got his bachelor's degree from Cal Poly Pomona in, what's your major?
Industrial engineering.
Industrial engineering, okay. And my whole point of this video is just to give you guys some inspiration and to motivate you. He's been through it himself, so I want him to share on his college experience and what he's learned along the way and any advice he could give you guys to apply to help you finish strong and get your degree if that's something you're trying to do. So I'll go ahead and let him talk. I'll let you tell him a little about himself and just his college experience so far. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, thanks, Josh. Hello, YouTube. We'll probably edit that out. So yeah, like Josh said, my name is Michael. I'm just about to graduate from Cal Poly Pomona with industrial engineering.
Congrats again.
Yeah, thank you.
Again.
And I'd just like to start off by saying I started back in 2008. So if you do the math, that's more than 8 years of college. So first thing, if any of you out there are discouraged because of how long it's taking, I completely understand. But so many people would tell me, and I would kind of just brush it off. You know, it's not about how long it takes, it's about finishing. I would get so frustrated and so down on myself about how long I was taking, how bogged down I was with my coursework or with everything.
Right.
I just couldn't believe it. But now that I'm here at the end, I can finally see the wisdom of what they're saying, and I'm just so blessed and so happy that I've actually taken this journey. So if that's you, if you're in your 6th year, if you're in your 7th year, I know stuff probably happened to get you to that point, but don't get discouraged because I did it. You can do it too. If I did it, you can do it as well. So that's the first takeaway. Again, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It's just about finishing.
Yeah. Go ahead and try to explain on what it's like trying to balance the work life between the school life and family life, and the balance of it all. Or is there a balance, or do you just have to focus all on school during your quarters and semesters and worry about friends and family during the breaks?
Mm-hmm.
Or how were you able to balance it all out, work and school and everything?
Yeah. Whether it was a good or bad, I was able to actually live at home the whole time I've been at college.
Right.
So I had that huge benefit of not having to worry about finding a place close to school, or dorming or anything like that,
Okay.
or having to deal with any of the, freshman, lowerclassmen drama, meeting new people and living with new people kind of thing.
Right.
So I had that huge advantage. So I was around my family all the time when I wasn't at school. So for me,
did you find that was a little more supportive? Definitely.
It's more distracting than anything, honestly,
Really?
at
Okay.
first.
All right.
Because, your family's so used to you being involved in everything, party here with the family, this and that.
Oh, yeah, miss out on a couple things here and there.
I was put in some positions sometimes where my family was like, "You're never home. You're always at school studying." It's like I have to. I want to finish, and that, I guess you could say, that was a hard balance, trying to not so much please my family, but to be there for my family in situations they were so familiar with. We had to find a new equilibrium. Sometimes this is the way it's going to be. I'm going to be at school till maybe 10:30 with my group, and I'm going to miss this, I'm going to miss that, and I'm sorry, but I just have to do it. And
So it sounds like to me, you're gonna have to make sacrifices. Then you're gonna have to
on both ends.
Yeah. If you're gonna go after what you really want, then you can't truly balance everything. You could try, but you can't truly balance it because something's always gonna slip, right? You're gonna be good at one thing, and something's gonna kind of fall off on the side. So it's kind of hard to make sure everything's going in place, right?
You can't do everything.
Yeah, you can't be everywhere. Yeah, at the same time.
Even if you just isolate that you can't do everything, like sentence to school itself, just to school. Let's say you're taking 5 classes, you can't give 100% in every class. It's just impossible.
Right.
It's just impossible. One week you might be like, I have a test for this class, so I'm just gonna not do the homework for that one class, and it sucks. And you probably should, but there's just literally not enough time in the week.
And going off that, as far as picking your schedule, did you always go with the strategy, maybe a few easy classes mixed with some hard classes, or did you try to do maybe your beginning of your school years, knock out all the easy classes, save the hard ones for last, or vice versa? Or how did you strategize that?
There's a lot of different theories. Everyone's going to give you different advice. But for me, at first, I was able to do what you said, mix in the easy classes with the hard classes.
Okay.
Because I was just starting doing my core courses, my support courses like physics, My first quarter, I took a social dance class. You know, it's like those 1-unit kinesiology dance classes.
Nice.
You mix that in with your hardcore classes, but
That kind of relieves the stress, right? Doing like a
yeah.
not like lecture
Definitely.
and sitting in a class, right?
I'd recommend doing at least one a year, if not one per semester. It's just like it's beautiful, and you probably meet people from your own major, and it's a great way to just like you said, relax. But as I went on in my academic career, you run out of those easy classes to take, and they all just become hard classes.
Right, okay.
But on the same token, you become a better student. You become better at how you learn. You become better at how you attack the course and you strategize. So I feel like it's a natural progression. As you start out, it's okay to have that security blanket of easy class, hard class, easy class, hard class.
Okay.
And as you go on, when it becomes, you know what, these are all hard classes, by then hopefully you've learned how to develop a support system. That's another thing I like to talk about, is getting a study group as soon as you can. You know, if you're in the same major, you might have the same classes, schedule your classes together as much as you can.
Yeah, don't do it
Study
alone.
2 or 3 times a week.
Okay.
Literally, my last year in college, almost every class I had was a team-based project. I was in 4 or 5 groups every quarter. So I was literally all day long, 8 a.m. to like maybe midnight, almost every single day, meeting with 4 or 5 different groups daily.
Was that a class requirement, or something you did on your own?
Both. Like the class requirements required a lot of us to work in groups, but at that point we were with each other so much, we were just studying for this class. Oh, you have that class too? Let's go ahead and meet up, and the last half of this meeting we're going to just study for this midterm together. And it was a huge support group, huge support network. It's also important to recognize there are other people going through what you're going through, and if you can connect with those people, it's just so much easier.
Yeah,
don't be so much more successful.
Yeah, because definitely when you're in college, you have the opportunity to meet so many new kinds of different people. So definitely bank on that and meet your fellow classmates in your class, and don't be afraid to make a awkward meet. You know, I know it's hard to meet strangers sometimes, but don't be afraid to branch out and get some people to help you out along the way. So definitely, you don't have to do it alone.
No, definitely.
And the next thing I wanted to get into was, like you said, as you went on, you said earlier, you kind of changed your approach on how you would attack each course. So let them know, like, how would you attack studying and homework, as far as, would you do like maybe 30-minute, no distractions, take a break, another 30 minutes on, or go ahead and speak on that if you have any strategies for that, you know. Or would you go to Starbucks, or would you go in your house? Are there certain environments you like to study in?
Yeah. For me, it was a school library. If I could get alone time, it was in the library to just tackle my homework. The best time for me was between classes, because I was going to be on campus anyway, and I had nowhere to go, nothing else to do, so I would do homework. It was the hardest challenge for me was when I had school and work in the same day. So let's say I would have an 8-hour shift and then go straight to school, or I would have full class all day, then go straight to work. In those cases, it's really taxing as a student, because you really don't have the time. You don't have literally not even just 1 minute to tackle your homework, and that's where it becomes challenging. But literally, there's no good time. That's the best amount of wisdom. There's no good time to do homework. If you have a chance to do it, do it. If you have a chance to study, take it. There's honestly, unless you have a perfect schedule, perfect work schedule, perfect class schedule, perfect commute, unless everything's lined up exactly how you plan it to be, there's absolutely no good time. Just take what you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty much all the questions I had. If you want to leave them off with, this doesn't necessarily have to be about school or anything, but just your overall, how old are you, Mike?
I'm 26.
You're 26.
26.
So if you could go back to let's say your 14-year-old self, you're starting off in high school again, from what you know now, from accomplishing school and everything, what would you go back and tell your 14-year-old self as a advice, you know? What would you say to him?
It's a good question.
Go ahead, I'll give you time to think about that.
14-year-old self. Say thinking. Yeah, so in high school, nowadays I feel more than ever, it's great that everyone's encouraged to go to college. That's amazing. That's a huge cultural shift that we're trying to get through. I don't know if it's different in other states or other other countries, I guess.
Right,
It's different
right.
as well. But here I see the way that the learning is structured, the way the classes are structured, and the way your high school career is structured. It's designed to get you to go to a 4-year university.
Right.
And that's fine. But for me, I went in a certain major, mechanical engineering, and I felt almost pressured at the time I got, my applications out. Oh, what do I choose? I know kind of what I like, but what am I going to want to do for the rest of my life? How can you think about that as a graduating senior, much less when you're starting as a freshman, 14
Right.
years old?
Yeah, that's a hard decision.
So, one thing that I think everyone should consider is don't be afraid to change your major. Don't be afraid to go in and say, you know what, I'm gonna try something else. Because the first 2, maybe even 3 years that you're in college, that's the perfect time. That's the absolutely
To dabble
perfect
around,
time
see what you like, right?
to see what you like. And if you're gonna switch majors, that's the time to do it. I switched my major after 6 years of college.
Wow.
Which was a very unorthodox, very bold move, I have to say, but I don't regret it.
Okay.
Like, I love the major I've chosen, industrial engineering, so much, and I've fast-tracked my way out of Cal Poly so fast once I switched. It was
Awesome.
just incredible.
Awesome.
Now, if I had just opened my mind to the idea of switching sooner, maybe I would have. Maybe I would have realized what I was meant to do a lot sooner. But
Okay.
instead, I was in mechanical. I was beating my head against the books. I was struggling so hard just to try and finish something because I had said I was going to do it when I started in 2008.
Yeah, so you wanted to commit to something and knock it out, right?
Exactly.
It was hard for you to change.
Exactly, and I hadn't thought of any other alternative. Anything else would be considered a failure to me. I would be letting
Wow.
down my family. I'd be letting down like all my professors that had worked with
okay.
me so hard, my advisors, And on a personal level, that was keeping me from being successful. Trying so hard to be successful in something that I really wasn't.
Okay, so do you feel like since you were trying to please parents, professors, you were kind of pleasing Michael Olmos, right?
Yeah,
Did it kind of lose your drive?
Yeah, I was burbling. I was at that point. Yeah, I guess so. I was not going forward in the direction I wanted to go.
Is that why though? Because you felt like you had you're kind of letting down. There's a pressure of others being put on you to.
Yeah. That was definitely a part of it. Because
Okay.
I had so much support from my family early on, and family friends who would recommend this major, recommend that major, STEM majors,
Okay.
And I felt like if I at that point were to switch, it would be almost like a slap in the face,
To everybody.
To everybody.
Wow.
It's like okay. And
I'm
if
sure
I
there's a
just
lot
been
out
more-
there that could
man,
relate, like parents that want you to be a doctor or attorney,
That's a
and that's
big
not
one.
something
That's
you
a big
personally
one.
want to do.
That's a big one.
Always, like you said, just if you're not really passionate about something, you're doing it for more someone else, it's going to be a little difficult. I recommend just, no matter what they think, always follow your own passion and what's your own interest, because it's always going to be easier if you have the interest into it, obviously, and you have the passion for it. Like you said, things just went smoothly once you follow something he was a little more interested in, right?
Even the types of people that were in the new major were just
Really?
so different.
Okay.
So different. The entire culture was so different. The professors were so different. It spoke to me on a level of like.
Whoa! Was it?
Sorry. Time out. Rewind.
Sorry not to cut that part out. Time out. Okay.
So I was just saying like even the people in this new major.
Should we check the camera, see what's okay?
Okay.
Jeez.
Now we're back from that commercial break.
Yeah, we were back from a little break.
But after I switched majors, even the people, the teachers, the whole culture there was completely different. A whole new level of positivity, cooperation. Like, I'm not gonna like bag on all the mechanical engineering people. They're amazing. They're really good at what they do. The students are really driven, but it was so competitive. It was so competitive. Even in like the lower division courses, people wouldn't want to work together. They wouldn't want to tell you how to get an answer. And
So how'd you work around that?
I was part of another thing. I was part of an organization called MEP, which is Maximizing Engineering Potential. It forces you to network with people in your major. So something like that early on really did help me. But later on, as I was struggling more and more, I kind of did the worst thing possible. Was I got kind of ashamed that I failed one class, right? And so I was like, you know what? none of these guys are going to respect me anymore. So I kind of stepped away from that. And what I should have done was dove in even deeper and accepted the support from that organization. But the knee-jerk reaction is to kind of be like, you know what, I can't do this. And then that's kind of one of the things that also set me back. But like I said, what was I saying?
All right. Well,
no, I'm sorry, I lost my track.
Oh, you're all right. You're all right. So that kind of leads me to another question.
Mm-hmm.
What is your own? This could be your own definition. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be what everyone wants to hear. You know, it could be your own personal definition.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be right or wrong.
Okay.
But what is your personal definition of success and your personal definition of failure? It could be anything you want, but what's your personal definition of those two terms?
Okay. Yeah. I think success is measured by your own goals. So it has to be something, for me personally, concrete, and attainable. So let's say I have a goal, for example, to graduate college. I graduate with a bachelor's degree. It's been a long and winding journey, and it's had its ups and downs, but
Okay.
I'm about to finish, so I'm successful in that sense because I met that goal. Now, if, say, I was never to get my bachelor's degree, I dropped out, and I just started working like as a technician or something, you know, I would have not considered myself so much like a failure per se, but I would have failed that goal. You know, I failed my attempt at college, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a fact.
And
I
do you see it as a failure, or do you see it more as like, what can I take that I learned from this, and how can I apply it moving on to my next stage in life?
There's always two sides. Like the other side is definitely I would not have wasted any of the experience or the knowledge that I learned during that time, but I would have to stay positive and think about, you know what, I know probably a lot more than the average technician because I studied at a formal four-year university to get an engineering degree, and I'm going to use that to my advantage and maybe be the best AC technician or like auto tech, automotive technician that I can be and excel at that. Awesome. And maybe later on take another crack at it because, maybe it's something I still want, even though I couldn't cut it the first time, but maybe I will have changed enough in the future, maybe have a different motivation that can get me through it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's pretty much it. Did you want to leave them with any final words?
Yeah,
if not, it's alright. Just if you got anything else you want to say.
Just reiterate, it's never too late. If you're not going to school now, for whatever reason that might be, just do it. It's never. So we're rolling on the camera and the other.
Wait, should we pause this, check where we left off, or do you remember? I was just have to say my ending part, right? Like, thanks for watching everything.
Exactly. Well.
And I did a recap of what you said, right?
Yes, you had already done that, and then you were saying.
Did we get that?
No, you didn't do the recap.
Okay.
That was after when you told me to say just one more time, final words, final takeaway.
Okay.
Did you want to repeat it?
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty much all the questions I have. If you want to leave them off with any words of advice or anything like that, go ahead. Feel free. Anything you got to say?
Yes. I just like to reiterate, don't get discouraged. For example, if you look at my case, I took 8 years in my undergraduate, not even for a master's or anything like that, just for undergrad. It took me more than 8 years to finally get through. And don't be afraid to change your major. It's never too late. Honestly, I switched in my 6th year. Should have done it sooner, but the fact that I did it is all that mattered. Honestly, at the end of the day, just don't be afraid. It can set you back. So.
Stay committed. Yeah,
exactly. Stay committed. I'm saying everything again. It's just like find some friends, work with those friends, get in a study group, and you'll come out just fine.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thanks again. Like I said, this is one of my good friends and one of my few friends that has a bachelor's, so it's an honor being his friend, and I'm very proud of him. And like he said, just picking your major, pick something you like, pick something you're interested in. Don't be forced or pressured on what everyone else wants for you. Don't be afraid to follow your own path and meet people, enjoy college, have fun. It doesn't have to be very stressful. And stay focused. You guys, you could do it. And like you said earlier as well, you might have some tough quarters and semesters where you just really have to focus a lot of your time for school. So don't work so hard to balance it out. Prioritize what you have to do and focus on school if that's what has to get done. Okay, hold on. Take pause.
Sure, yeah, no worries.
I'll edit this out. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming on, Mike. I appreciate it. This was a great interview, and look forward to many more interviews to come. And thanks for watching.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
Thank you so much. All right.